service that the spectators are why we do it. It really is why we do it.
Oh, I think a lot of it is just due to total honesty. I mean, it's just like a big family unit, and we hug, and we have some tears, we have some hugs, and we're all pretty close to each other. I think that the fans enjoy seeing the
Butch Blair using one of the aerodynamic styled cars that Joe Amato ran just a little bit a couple of 3 years ago. Joe didn't like it at the time, that kind of aerodynamics. He's loving what he's doing right now, Bruce Larson.
The aerodynamics on Butch Blair's car are kind of a refinement of Don Garlick's early efforts in that type of front-end fairing, and Joe thought it was a little skittish.
All right, Bradley easing into the staging beams. Butch Blair's car not necessarily sounding as strong as he would like it, or as well as it should, so we'll see. He comes in stages. Now Bradley gets ready, and we'll find out how good this racetrack is. There's got to be a lot of help right now because of the cloud cover. By 95, and that's when the boys on the safety seek to fly through the air with the greatest of ease at the finish line. We're talking about Eddie Hill. It was a couple of years ago. So does Don Prudhomme. He did it at Bakersfield a year ago in testing. And then he did it again at Montreal. Only man I know right. 5 just a minute ago by Frank Bradley. If Prudhomme popped it up a little bit, we could see us a 4 right now.
With the air conditions and the track, the way the stage is set for Don Prudhomme, this could definitely be a 4, Mac.
All right, the Skoal Bandit over in the Quaker State lane on the Winston side. Eddie Hill, it could be side-by-side 4-second runs. Let's see.
Yeah, go.
See something exciting, the return of the mongoose himself, Tom McEwen at the wheel of the mobile. Raise the tires. Well, as they were loaded. 5-0-1 with Doug Herbert. He is concerned basically with getting into the program. Goes Jimmy next to a 5:28 262. 5:37. Brian, the tires 10 radio to 5:30. We encourage you to bring it tomorrow or whenever you have an opportunity. Pick one up at the souvenir stands. They got radios there, and you can listen in on all the coming here at Pomona and the Chief Auto Parts Winter National. Now staging is LaHaye. Here's on stage. A 5:04.285 for Dick LaHaye, a 5:0 we see, and both and you can watch it out there
and to watch my runs.
You know, Don Prudhomme, who worked.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was an abbreviated run too as well, David. 264 miles an hour. He had a flash of fire out of both pipes sitting right about the 1100-foot mark, maybe even just a little sooner, and he clicked it. Obviously, he felt it.
All right, of course, Gene Snow is not noted for running big speeds because he seems to try to get all.
We had it pretty safe today. We want to make sure we got down the track. So
5:56. Well, Mr. Schultz now has himself a baseline, a 5:70. Look at Al Huff. First call, pro stop to the lanes, please. Pro stop to the staging lanes for qualified. Jimmy Scott is in, pre-staged on the Quaker State lane. Bruce McDonald, the driver of the Bushy Machine Shop entry, moves up on the Winston lane. The speed record would be nice for McDonald, but he wants to light that Winston board up with a win.
And the speed record. Agreed.
McDonald with a Jim Scott with the win, 6.03. 6:03, a stellar run for Jim Scott, and check it out. He is over here in the Winston lane in the Pioneer special. 5:42. No improvement.
Their distribution and get the fans to support their product. We'll be back.
We'll look forward to it. Part of the final. Weatherford back to the 5:13. I think maybe they experiment. Off the starting line. Second run. I think what may have been the biggest race of the weekend was see if Tom McEwen or Kenny Bernstein could get in the lanes first.
That's right.
To be the last member of the Krager 4-Second
Right
Club.
out of here.
There's one thing they might not have thought of. There's a little bit of mist in the air right now that takes the place of air. So it would be a little better if it wasn't misty out there.
Of course, this is quite a successful team. The bulk of the group that carried 5:09 for Tom McEwen, serving notice that he is going to be one to reckon with. Okay.
That's right. That's a once-in-a-lifetime deal for him to step up into the top-notch organization.
Well, top-notch it is. He is not in the show right now. His best of 5:20. Connie Coletta is qualified at a 5:13. Winter Nationals final field up in a lot of piston smoke is because they don't have a big sponsor name on the side of the car. Here in replay, you can see at the finish line, boy, that's close racing. One spot to John Midland and crew. Congratulations, folks. Hey, guys, behind the big tower, your parents are... Here now, they're both staged. All over the racetrack, 5-10. Bobby Baldwin qualifies. Frank Sim just bumped from... Involved in his son's racing efforts is quite an understatement. He and his wife Ruth have been with Tom throughout his career. Now recording all of the action of that camera, even though you don't see it in the cut that you watch on the Winston Vision screen, you know that they are recording it for use on NBC Sports World. You can watch it on your NBC affiliate. Boy, did that fit. I must tell you, 5:02. That got her off the number 16 spot. Now here comes Wayne Bailey. Here is a non-qualified car. He's got the opportunity to move in. And it is Connie Coletta on the bump. They neither a good pass by the Super Shop NBC Sports World camera. Zeroing in as Shirley Muldowney brings her pink race car to the starting line. In search of a sponsor. Shirley out campaigning on her own dollars and trying their best to make this show. Shirley Muldowney is bumped out. Connie Coletta and made this the quickest field in the history of drag racing. 5
this weekend. I'm very happy for Shirley and her entire crew.
All right, here's Gene Snow, and the Mopar won't even use all the good traces they use. He knows he's got to run better than Bobby. up another one. 5:23 as Bruce Walker makes the Fun Addict McGee motored entry to the number 20 spot. Gene Snow stays number 3 right now. Let's go.
You're right. Sid Waterman commented after you went through it. Boy, the
If you really want to appreciate what this team is all about, look at Special, your final top fuel dragster. There are 31 that have run here at this 31st annual Jeep 514.
Slightly marginal track. The engine weight distribution is a lot different than the top fueler.
Bill Worsham unable to carry it on through. Sutherland and the Desert Rat Car. It's the 91 Oldsmobile powered by the JP1 engine. If the right combination has been hit, Buster telling him put down your goggles. Down to a 546 and a 558 for Ron Sutherland. So there you see a double qualifying run. It's taken a car of Ed McCulloch and Larry Minor. Minor owns it, McCulloch drives it. Perfect example is what we were talking about a while ago, trying to find yourself a baseline. That's exactly what this crew did. They had struggled, they had blown the tires off us on the infusion of money will do. Don Garlitz even told me that one day when he was sitting up here working. He says, it's amazing when you got the bucks to buy the parts, what you can do. Here we go. Ed McCulloch, look out, Jim White.
No, eso ya no existe, amor. Eso solamente por allá por Xochimilco todavía usan cámaras con blanco y negro nada más. Sí, amor. Todo eso en vez de esa manera gasta dinero para sus deportes. Ajá. Ahorita nos vamos a ir caminando. Lo que sucede es que su hijo de Dios se quiere subir ahí también.
drag racing is really catching on in Europe.
Sí, ya ves.
Very big in England.
Él es el grande, él es el que es demasiado chiquito, es el que es un travieso.
Excellent cars in there. So, anyhow, son, nice to have you here with us.
Yo me acuerdo cuando ella estaba embarazada y también, sabes, que tenía ya como 8 meses y iba a las carreras todavía y embarazada.
Okay, now we're going to,
Siempre lo siguen,
over here to the
siempre lo
Hayward
sigue
Drag Club.
su papá, su mamá, su esposa y a veces más amistades, pero son, te digo, todos así de que se juntan. Ajá. Sí, ella me dice... Ajá. Ajá. Mira, ahí va todavía su hijo. Pero ¿sabes qué pasó? La que no, él no me la prestó, me la prestó otro muchacho. Pero
inch motors that they would like. Superchargers are allowed. Nitrous oxide also allowed. Multi-engines also allowed in the class. Mission-sponsored car coming up next. Can't find a car. I'm sorry about that, folks. And
amor, a ver, sácame tu lengüita.
okay, we don't have a tech card on him either, so we'll just kind of let you take a look at him, and we'll remind you a little bit that either not familiar is they put the pedal down on the starting line and they don't lift till they cross the finish line. Right, gang? That's the way to do it. Now, this car here, the disruption car of Scott Hooper, this youngster was out last night. He's out of Woodland Hills. California. Your car was built back in 1980 by Leonard 41-inch Chevrolet. Weight of this car about 13 pounds. Forward here, engineering along with Broomdale. And the tab. Front. Very similar, but from here in California, in the passenger lane, real remarkable. To qualify number 2 in the 7. Larry Moore qualified number 5 off of the 769. So right now, Scott Wheeler to win this one will be Bill Lobo in the line car, but they never tell us what to do with drag racing because any driver will get very tough next thing is the sure thing.
This is the same Top Gas West Williams ran in and all that. Not too much of this. But there are very good sixes that run competitions Nickerman